There we go. All right, now it's popped up. Gotta love computers these days, especially on a Monday morning. So today is Monday, March 11th. Honestly, I can't believe it's already March. Time just seems to be just flying by. We sprung forward daylight savings time. So I really hope that everybody got that extra cup of coffee this morning, actually yesterday morning, because when you woke up and you thought it was, 6 o'clock on your phone, your body actually thought it was like 5 o'clock. So not always fun. One of the things, the simple fact about daylight savings time is that it increases the risk of being in a fatal traffic accident by 6% in the United States. Now, I know 6% doesn't seem to be that much, but it is significant. So 6%. This is a little bit of losing that hour, that sleep deprivation, and the misalignment of the body's biological rhythms in response to the 1 hour change. Now, I really think that I think everybody's gonna be careful out there, but definitely that's one of the things to keep in mind with regards to daylight savings time. Daylight savings time is one of those subjects that everybody is a little bit tuned into, and every time it happens, they complain about it. Actually, there's been several daylight saving time bills in the what do you call it, in the General Assembly, but always, and we've had subject matter hearings on it, to be quite honest, and it doesn't seem to move the needle. One of the things is that Congress has to act with regard to it as well, and they haven't yet. So definitely that's one of the things to take concern. We've had subject matters on it when I was the chair of state government. We had subject matters on that as well. So it's just something to keep talking about, and something to really, to be quite honest, really keep in mind. And then you have like a daylight savings time, standard time. What time do you move forward or stay to? So it's a bigger, more complex subject than it's been. But you get an extra hour of daylight, and I'm really looking forward to spring and summer. So that's always good. Today, I do have a Wonder Woman cup. So I have my Wonder Woman coffee mug today. That is for International Women's Day with regards to Friday. So Friday is National Women's Day, and we just need to celebrate that. So one of those things is really one of the greatest things that you can do is talk to a specific woman in your life. For International Women's Day was Friday, but never hurts to talk to them again. So it seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty on Facebook. Not quite sure what is going on. It says waiting for a live feed, and hope it's coming through now. So my computer was acting up a little bit. There we go. Computer was acting up a little bit. So now it seems to be working now. So wonderful. Good morning to Bonnie. Bonnie's on. Thank you, Bonnie, for joining us this morning. And again, International Women's Day was Friday. Now, speaking of wonderful women, I do have to send some condolences to the family of Helen Ellers. Now, Helen came on my Facebook Live, I want to say maybe 2 years ago in June for women veteran Zoom that we had. I had Air Force veteran and Helen, World War II veteran, and myself, and we talked about our experiences. And Helen Ellers passed away at the young age of 100. And she is just an amazing woman. I've known her since before my kids were born. So I knew her 25, 26, 27 years. And she was a woman Marine for World War II. And she worked on the instrument panels for the Corsair in that is an airplane, if you don't know, World War II airplane. And she was in the Marines for 2 years, and then got out. And she said that when she got out of the military, all they did was say thank you and gave her a bus ticket home. And that was it. And then a couple of years later, as we've talked about before in the past, they had the signing, the reason why June is Women Veteran Month is because the president signed back in the day that women were able to now serve in the military, and Helen then was recognized as a veteran, and she um, passed away. Again, it's very sad, but you know, she lived to be 100. She always had a smile on her face, and we were very blessed to have her at that period of time. So just, you know, give a thought, give a prayer to the family of Helen Ellers in the Wheaton area as they say their final goodbyes to her. And, you know, Godspeed, Helen. I know she's going to be really, really knocking it up on top. So that would be, that's wonderful. That's, you know, she's a wonderful woman. I just can't say enough about her, but yeah. That's it. I mean, she's great. I had a blast with her. She was a wonderful person. So I gotta stop talking about her, or else I'm gonna get a little bit sad. But again, she is laid to rest tomorrow. So also just so you know, I'm wearing green today because this weekend coming up, St. Patty's Day is in Chicago, and then we also have St. Patty's Day here in Aurora on Sunday. So check the calendar and check the website and make sure that you are up to date if you do any St. Patty's Day events this weekend. So definitely it's a good thing. So so having some feed issues on the Facebook. But we'll just keep going along, and if the feed goes through, it goes through. If it doesn't go through, there's nothing I can do about it. Technology. Facebook did have some issues, and so maybe that's part of it. I really can't tell you. Can't tell you at all what's going on with the computer, but I can tell you what's going on with the General Assembly. So last week we were back in Springfield. We were doing a lot of work with regards to committee work and bills. So more than 200 bills passed out of the committee. The Senate has a deadline of March 15th to get out of committee. The House has a deadline of March 5th or April 5th. So we have a little bit of time in the House. So it's still early in the session. A lot of things get passed out of committee to get out of committee for the deadline, and then have to go back for amendments and as we work to it. So we had, gosh, I think like 26 committee hearings last week. It was really kind of crazy. And then this week, you know, back in Springfield to the House and Senate, we had 43 committees scheduled. Oh no, 43 committees scheduled just kind of in the House, I guess. Goodness gracious. So we are looking at, let me see what's going on again here. There we go. Yep. So able to pass 6 of my bills through the committees, and moving to the House floor again, some have to come back for amendments. And so one of them we are still working on is House Bill 5269, which is a bill to improve mental health care for our youth in care in the DCFS system. That's still in work in progress. We're going to have to go back to committee with some amendments on it, but definitely working really hard on that. House Bill 4757 is a great initiative. I'm excited about these initiatives. It's an easy, small thing. When you go into your place of employment, the Department of Labor has a poster up that tells you all the rights as an employee. So right next to that poster, we're working with the Department of Labor and the AFL-CIO. There's going to be a comprehensive veteran service members benefit poster next to that poster in your workforce, so that veterans who are working will be able to read all the protections, all the services, all the benefits that they can have. They know what numbers to call, the protections under the AG's office, IDVA, along with the VA and the crisis hotline. So I'm very excited about that. I know it sounds like a very little piece of legislation, but I think it'll have a big impact on veterans understanding and knowing where they can file their claims and where they can get information from. There's a lot of people that take advantage of veterans, and this is just one small step to make them more informed of what's going on. We also have a bill, House Bill 4934, 4, this is working with the VFW, and actually the VFW in Naperville, Stacy Boyd came down, Boyer came down to testify with regards to an initiative that she does through the Naperville VFW, which looks to fix, repair, or even put in new headstones for our veterans of 100 years or more. So it really is a great initiative to always remember our fallen heroes, even if they have been gone over 100 years. But we have to do an amendment to the law to allow this to happen, because there is in law, it says to modify a grave or to do anything within an individual's grave, you have to get permission from the family. However, these individuals, number one, have been gone for 100 years. Number two, they died very young, so they didn't have any children. They didn't have any family left around. So we're just changing it a little bit for those graves that are 100 years or more, so that we can protect them, enhance them, and repair the stones, put in stones, and work really hard with that. House Bill 4171 it designates a portion of Interstate 80 in Illinois as United States Marine Corps Semper Fidelis Memorial Highway. This came from the Marine Corps Coordinating Council of Illinois as a request, and so we're working with the Illinois Department of Transportation with regards to this naming initiative. House Bill 5655 is an initiative that came from NIU, the Northern Illinois University students. They gathered. We had a wonderful meeting with regards to things that we can do to help improve their educational experience. One of the things that I heard is that members of the National Guard or members of the reserves were not always given consideration when they got called up for guard duty or reserve duty within their official capacities to make up work. In fact, many of them said that they were advised from their instructors to just drop the class. So this is an initiative that will support them, that will mandate, I know a lot of people don't like mandates, but this is a good mandate, that will mandate a policy with regards to the instructors to allow members of the National Guard or the reserves on official duty to make up any time that they missed. So, and that's, it's so important. And then the last one, House Bill 5653, we had for the last 2 years, the Veteran Service Related Ailments Task Force. Great group of people. I've been on it now for the past 2 years. They want to keep working, so they wanted to reauthorize the task force and rename it the Veterans Services Task Force, so they can look at all the different areas of veterans services with regards to in the state of Illinois and how we can always improve the what needs to be done. So really a wonderful thing, and something that I think is really important with to keep working on that. So I got a lot of all other bills. I'm not going to go through them all. One of the other bills that passed out of committee that I didn't mention, I don't have the number in front of me, but Space Force. So the DoD, the Department of Defense, is going through and making sure that each state has their regulations up to code, their laws up to code to recognize Space Force. Presented that bill in committee so that we can honestly look into the proper definition. So this comes from, of course, the Department of Defense. In fact, the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense came and provided information with regards to the Department of Defense and the direction of the Undersecretary of Defense to note that the creation of Space Force, it did change in force the structure. They occurred at the federal level. We all knew about that. So we need to have our state laws align with these federal changes. This helps in many ways. It also, states and minimizes disruptions in benefits and services for service members and dependents by updating the various definitions of military service in Illinois to include the Space Force. So this is one of the things that if we don't update this, state services that are allowed for veterans or military individuals, and we don't have Space Force listed, could really cut out some individuals. So one of the things, so Space Force needs to be added as a definition of armed forces to ensure that the men and women who serve in this new branch receive the same benefits and protection of those in the other branches of the military, which includes healthcare, housing, and education. It's something that's small, but something that definitely we need to do because it was authorized on the congressional level, on the federal level, and we need to bring our codes up to date. So we have a lot of other bills, and I will keep you up to date on those as those go through the system. And then certainly pensions meeting up as well. So that's what I was doing last week in Springfield. A couple other bills of note that came out of the Senate. I think that's very interesting, and we'll come over to the House. Is Senate Bill 3649. That's a bill that's actually been backed by the AFL-CIO, labor organizations. It advances a measure that would prohibit Illinois companies from requiring employees to attend work-related meetings about politics or religion. So, the crux of it, and President Tim Dray said, individuals go to work to earn a living, to be able to take care of their families. The employer needs employees so that they can, run their business. And that does not include any indoctrination by anyone's religious or political beliefs. So it's been brought up to attention that some individuals would get in trouble or disciplined for not attending these meetings. So now it would be illegal for a business to discharge, discipline, or otherwise penalize an employee who declines to attend or participate in an employer-sponsored meeting about religion or political matters. So that's in the bill's language. So that's coming out of the Senate. Again, they have an earlier deadline than we do, and I just saw that Roger Trend is on. So good morning, Roger. One of the things that we do is listen to young folks in our communities, and Senator Seth Lewis had about 25 students from the Prairie School of DuPage, and they are lobbying to designate state mushroom, believe it or not. So Senator Lewis visited these students at the school in Wheaton several weeks ago, and they told them that they were doing a great deal of research and asked to file the bill to make the Calvadia gigantea, or the giant puffball, you guys might have seen it in your yards or elsewhere in the state of Illinois, as the official state mushroom. So he filed Senate Bill 3514. They got over 174 witness slips in favor of that bill. Another bill that Senator Holmes in our area is sponsoring in the Senate is life-ending drugs to terminally ill patients. So Illinois is one of 19 states considering this legislation to allow a physician to prescribe this. If it becomes law, Illinois will become the 11th state to have medically assisted dying on the books. So that's, again, in the Senate. These are bills in the Senate that are coming out. Also looking at, again, protecting our wetlands. And then the last one I have on here is something that's being proposed in the Senate, is a structure for online news outlets to negotiate with social media platforms to get compensated when someone shares a news story on their news feed. So this is an initiative of the Illinois Local Journalism Task Force, which was created in 2021 to evaluate the state of local journalism. So it's pretty interesting with regards to that. Now, what else is happening? As I said, Friday was International Women's Day, international throughout the world. DCO has Women's History Month event. Now, March is also Women's History Month. So on Thursday, March 21st, DCO has an event of an overview of mentoring programs for women entrepreneurs. And then they also, on Friday, March 22nd, had the first annual Asian Women's Summit. So that's through our DCO. Other than that, the governor, we put in the budget about $200 million in state capital improvement grants, and they're earmarked for hundreds of projects throughout the suburbs. Now we're going to get a breakdown with regards to that. So I don't have a huge list with regards to that in front of me because $200 million worth of capital improvements is a pretty big list. But some grants are worth millions of dollars, some are just a few thousand. So they're all kind of broken up. As you know, if you go through the roundabout on Harvey Road, that was part of a grant from the state as well. So this is all part of the 2019 capital improvement program that was launched called Rebuild Illinois. $45 billion, the largest of its kind in Illinois history. So, and as you recall during the State of State speech last month, Governor Pritzker announced his plans to add $3 billion more to capital investments throughout the state. So we're really want to work with the governor on those. Again, the governor proposes and the General Assembly overviews. I don't see any questions on the Facebook, so we'll just keep going right along with a little bit of an update here. Going to Springfield again this week. So we are looking at the redetermination process. I've talked about this before. They were continuing to do the annual redeterminations, eligibility verifications for Medicare and Medicaid. So going through that process, if you know anybody that is in the program, they get things in the mail, have them reapply. Now, tourism is big business. A lot of people, it's an economic driver. Tourism, people like to have fun experiences, they spend money, they go out to eat, they learn about history, the community, preservation. And so we allocated in last year's budget, because we're still in last year's budget, $4.6 million to funding and 20 local tourism organizations across the state. So it was awarded through the Tourism Private Sector Grant Program, and it was a competitive grant program. So this helps support events, festivals, advertising, marketing, transportation, equipment rental, receptions, banquets, registration, entertainment, all the things that go along with tourism. And I staycations are really important. And I know I was talking to a couple of people about back before COVID, we did our third Thursday information session, looking at trying to retool that. And I know that we had a subject on staycations. You don't have to go very far to have a fun time in Illinois, and tourism is really the backbone of the communities. We also have a community solar energy grant program that was part of CEJA, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. So about $8.5 million in funding for that program to help community-based organizations and provide technical service for low-income and historically disadvantaged communities. When you lift up, everybody wins. So working very hard with regards to historically disadvantaged communities, low-income individuals, and getting projects in those communities as well. And then pivoting on that, the governor announced $28.8 million. That was in a line item from the budget last year to provide free locally produced food to vulnerable communities. We've talked about food deserts before. We talked about, just difficulties some communities have on getting fresh produce and farm based. So this will allow the state of Illinois to purchase food directly from farmers at fair market value, socially disadvantaged farmers as well. And the food is then distributed by providers, food banks, farming collaboratives, and other nonprofits to communities in need at no cost. And this includes schools, churches, nonprofits. And we are working with the United States Department of Agriculture with regard to this. Not much on the judicial side, to be quite honest. The Supreme Court is going to be holding some court hearings in Springfield. I talked about that the other day. We got a report back that says that funding at the Illinois public universities is underfunded. I've done that. I've talked about that a long time. When I was back in college, if you go back, it was about $2.4 billion back then, and this is going back now 25 years. So, and right now we're at 2.4 billion. So it has not raised with inflation. It's not kept pace with a lot of other things. So people wonder why tuition is higher. It's because the state is not paying in as much as it possibly can. But again, we need to look at all the different factors of the budget, not just universities, but all the other ones. Now, quick takeaways with regards to those that watched the State of the Union. So, last Thursday, President Joe Biden delivered his annual State of the Union address. And I've talked about this before on how the state and the federal government work hand in hand. And definitely, we worked very well with the federal government and gotten a lot of assistance from them. But I share President Biden's call for more support of Ukraine. We just cannot leave them high and dry. It would be horrible. So we need to continue to support them. And Illinois, Illinois has already put into law reproductive rights protections, including in vitro. And so that's already in Illinois. The president has called on that to be statewide, or nationwide, which I think is so important for that. President Biden called for a national assault weapons ban. As you know, in Illinois, we did pass an assault weapons ban. It's been upheld by the courts now. It's still going through some of the processes on the federal level, so we will see how that turns out. President Biden also celebrated the passing and signing of the PACT Act. We've talked about this before in the past. The PACT Act was the most significant law ever passed. One of the most significant laws. Millions of veterans exposed to toxins who are battling more than 100 different cancers. If you know individuals that served there during Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraqi freedom, enduring freedom, the burn pits were everywhere, and they were exposed to a lot of toxins. And individuals are suffering not only from cancers, but all sorts of ailments. And the PACT Act then says, if you were over there, we're going to presume that your conditions are connected to that. One of the things that I like to hear, and of course, as you all know, is my son is serving overseas in Japan, and he promised to protect our people and our military personnel and those serving overseas. And there's a lot more, but that was just the quick takeaways that I took from his annual Union State of the Union address. I talked about St. Patrick's Day in Chicago and in Aurora this weekend. Last weekend, Saturday, March 9th, West Suburban Irish held the 2024 St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Naperville. It featured over 90 participating groups. I was unable to attend on Saturday. I had a lot going on. However, it was a great time. They went through the downtown Naperville, the normal fun music, dancing, and enough green to keep even the peskiest leprechauns at bay. I know it's kind of corny, but I thought it was kind of funny. Last night was the Oscars. I was not able to watch the Oscars. I was at an event, but I've seen the movie. The movie is amazing. Oppenheimer was just the best. It won 7 Oscars. I guess you can call it was the bomb. It was the opposite of the bomb. Make all the bomb comments you want with Oppenheimer. But 7 Oscars over the course of the ceremony. Best Picture, Director, Actor, Supporting Actor, Original Score, Cinematography, Film Editing. Emma Stone won the Best Actress for Poor Things. I can't say enough about Oppenheimer. It's really one of the things in government, and this is why I look at this movie through a different lens than other people would, is government has to do and make decisions with the information we have at hand. It is always easy to go back in time and say, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But we try, and I know I'm talking on the state level. Oppenheimer's a huge movie with regards to a big issue, the atomic bomb. But try to do the best that you can with the information you have. And Oppenheimer is one of those things when you look back in time and you look at his initiative and the policy and all the stuff that this movie stands for and all the stuff that this individual stood for, it really makes you sit back and think, especially individuals like me in government, on how we really, really, truly, truly need to do the best things for the people. Unfortunately, on many levels, mostly on the federal level, it doesn't really seem like that. And it's a shame. But folks that are in government needs to, that are elected to government. This is about people. It's about initiatives. It's about trying to do the right thing the best you can. Like I said, I did miss the Oscars. I'm just kind of skimming some notes here, and I'm gonna have to YouTube this really, because Ryan Gosling's performance of Barbie's "I'm Just Ken" included Slash on the guitar. So I'm totally gonna YouTube this and check it out, because I was at an event last night, but I definitely want to see Ryan Gosling singing, and I definitely want to see Slash on the guitar. That's just amazingly and a lot of fun. Finally, Chicago Bears. So now it's what do they say? Throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, kind of thing. That's kind of been the mantra of the Chicago Bears. Right now, they're saying that they want to invest $2 billion on a dome stadium and publicly owned park space in Chicago's museum campus area. So they're shifting away from Arlington Park. Now, there's a lot of use for that Arlington Park land. So that doesn't mean that that's going to be vacant. But the CEO of the Bears say the future stadium of the Chicago Bears will bring a transformative opportunity to our region, boosting the economy, creating jobs, facilitating mega events, and generating millions in tax revenue. We look forward to sharing more information when our plans are finalized. And this is Bears President and CEO Kevin Warren about a statement about this $2 billion plan. So they want to increase open space by nearly 20%. They want an all-season free and accessible plazas, paths, landscapes. So they are focusing on the parking area south of Soldier Field. And they have done polling to say that many Chicagoans want the team to stay in Chicago rather than move to a new stadium in the suburbs. And they like the museum campus attraction. And they still are working on plans with regards to that. Now, if you're keeping in the loop, the Chicago White Sox also had plans to push a new stadium in the 78 neighborhood, which is about 2 miles away. So it's still up in the air. We'll see what comes out of the plan, how it's going to be financed, what's going to be paid for, what's going to look like. So it's going to be really interesting as well. And then on Saturday, I was at the Chris Patterson Memorial Foundation Red Tie Gala. The Chris Patterson Memorial Foundation was founded in honor of avid singer and musician SPC spec Christopher Alexander Patterson, who was killed in action on January 6, 2012. I remember the news on this. He served his country in Kedar province of Afghanistan at 20 years old. So he was in the army. The foundation ensures his sacrifice is never forgotten through the support of the performing arts that were so much a part of his life. So I was honored to be a part of the gala, honored to help support the initiative in the name of Chris Patterson. And we keep all our Gold Star families in our thoughts and prayers. So if you're not going to be in Chicago and you want to rock the block, Sunday, March 17th, I mentioned it before, City of Aurora's second annual Daniel Dolan St. Patrick's Day Parade and Irish flag raising ceremony at 11 a.m. It's at the same time as the South Side Parade, which I'm already committed to be at. But if you're here, the parade steps off at the corner of Water Street and Downer Place, heads west on Downer, ends at Downer and Stelp in front of the GAR, and they will raise a flag, have a special proclamation, awards, and raising the flag of Ireland. So following the event, restaurants and bars will be open throughout the downtown for parade goers to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And then next Monday, March 18th, is what we're going to have is the University of Illinois Extension horticulture educator, Jamie Vibach, will be telling us about gardening with native plants this spring and summer. Now, as you recall, now we're having this in March. As you recall, in 2022, Illinois designated every first Saturday in May as Veterans Gardening Day. So the day will be used to honor and commemorate Illinois veterans. That's in May. We're going to start talking about gardening here in March so that people can start thinking about what they want to plant, what they want to do already in March. So the University of Illinois Extension horticulture educator, Jamie Vibach, she's passionate about native plants. And that's one of the things that's really interesting that we need to start looking at and talk about. I know in our area, the Conservation Foundation does a lot to encourage native plants and, planting native plants. So she's going to share her knowledge and experience as a backyard gardener to make the surroundings a beautiful part of the local ecosystem, but also supporting our native plants. As you know, green grass is not native. They have very short roots and they don't really help that much. So native plants, they're beautiful, but they're beneficial and they're essential for fostering a connection to nature and the community. I mean, we talked about this before, the monarch butterflies, their populations are dwindling because their food source is dwindling. So local plants is really, really the way to go. Jamie's got a master's degree in environmental biology from Governor State University and her love of the native plants and working with local land trusts with the residents of Will County and beyond. So she'll be giving us a little bit of information with regards to that next week. And then solar eclipse. On April 8th, 2024, a total solar eclipse will set to pass through Illinois. Now, the Illinois Optometric Association, one of their public health initiatives is to raise awareness and promote eye health safety. And they have offered a supply of solar eclipse glasses for distribution to individuals in our area to watch the solar eclipse. Now, you can stop by our office at 1677 Montgomery Road and pick up a pair of your free solar eclipse glasses so that you can watch the solar eclipse on April 8th. So it's really important, again, not to look at the sun, not to come in direct contact with regards to that, but being able to watch these really awesome events is really fun. So we have, believe it or not, over 850 pairs of glasses available. If you're a teacher, call the office. We can pick up glasses for your classes, for your students. So the eclipse will come through Mexico, go through the United States to Texas to Maine, and will finish out about the eastern tip of Canada. So this is going to be the first total solar eclipse in the U.S. in 7 years. So I did go down to Murfreesboro and watch the solar eclipse last time, 7 years ago, with my daughter. So definitely the eclipse will be the most viewed ever because of the attention on social media and the superb coverage of the highway system in our country. Good typical weather for April 8th. And definitely that there's a good number of people who can get from large cities to get into the eclipse path. Now, I know 7 years ago, I was in Murfreesboro and tried to drive home after the eclipse down there. And I got, it took me 6 hours to get to Springfield and I gave up and stayed in Springfield and then got home the next day. Me and my daughter found a place to stay in Springfield. Apparently some people that it took them 10 or 12 hours to get from Southern Illinois to back home by the Chicagoland area. But that is not going to happen. I will definitely plan a little bit better and be prepared for traffic of people going south, going along the path of the eclipse. So with that, I leave for Springfield and not much else going on. No real questions in the chat. Just Bonnie and Roger and folks watching from home. So I appreciate that. So other than that, have a wonderful Monday. The weather's supposed to be good this week, and we will be in Springfield. Like I said, tomorrow there is one subject matter hearing today at 11 o'clock. That's virtual, but other than that, have a great day. COVID is still out there. As I said, I was at an event last night. Over 10 people called and canceled saying they had COVID. So please, COVID's still out there. Hand sanitize, wash your hands, give it some distance. And if you need to, wear a mask if you're not feeling well, and definitely be safe out there. So everybody have a great rest of the week. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back at you next Monday at 9 a.m. So take care, everybody. And again, have a great day.